Hey friends, this is Meg Clark here from Clapping Dog Media, and I am so excited to talk to you today about the 3 things that Google really does care about when it comes to your website. Now, there is a whole lot of blah when it comes to SEO out there in the world, and for good reason, I would think, because there's over 200 ranking factors for Google, and that silly algorithm, man, it changes all the time. So it is hard to keep up with the latest things and what to do and how to be on page 1 and what even does schema even mean. But what I'm here to tell you today is don't be overwhelmed. Don't be afraid of SEO, because the power of search engine optimization is your friend. And there are literally three things that Google really cares about and they pay attention to the most, and they always have. These are 3 things that have always been important to Google, and they probably always will be important to Google. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. Number 1. One of the biggest things that Google cares about is dwell time. Dwell time is basically the time on your site. So from Google's perspective, if your website is good, if it is causing people to spend a lot of time on your site, to engage with it, to read your pages, basically, if you are providing valuable content for your users, if you're spending a lot of time on your site, if users are spending a lot of time on your site, Google thinks you're double thumbs up. You have authority, you are good, you are legit, and so therefore, Google is going to recommend you to other people. They're going to put you higher on the search engine results page. So they measure how often, how long people spend on your site. So when you are designing, when you are developing, when you are writing, when you are creating content in your site, you need to think about, how does this promote people to spend time on my site? Does it make it easy for people to spend time on my site? Or are people going to get frustrated and want to leave? So always think about ways that people can spend more time on your site. And honestly, the number 1 way is to provide really good, valuable content. Make people want to stay. Number 1, dwell time. Number 2, Google measures the pages per session. And that's the number of pages that a user visits when they come to your website. This is very similar to dwell time. And basically what this means is it easy for users to click around? Is the navigation easy to manipulate, to find things? Do users have to, does it make sense? Does your content flow make sense? Does the structure of your site make sense? So if people are on one page, is it really easy to click through and find another page? Now, I'm probably going to offend a lot of people right now, but this is where a sidebar comes into play. Like if people are reading an article, let's say on gut health, let's just say, and over here on the right-hand side in your sidebar, you have other popular articles that you've written related to gut health, that is going to increase page dwell time on site and pages per session, because you make it easy for users to click around and find related pages. Also, if you have a lot of pages that are kind of related to the same topic, it proves to Google that you are an expert in what you're talking about. And if you're an expert, Google's going to rank you higher. So, dwell time, pages per session, they're related, but they're very, very important. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are kind of 2 things, so I'm sneaking one in on you. Bounce rate and pogo sticking. They are not the same thing, but they're very similar. Bounce rate, as you probably know, is the rate in which people get on your site and then they roll. So it's like how long, what's the bounce rate is a percentage of like How long do people spend on your site, and then do they leave? It's very much related to dwell time and pages per session. Like, are you creating a website, an environment, a design, an experience where people want to hang out and learn from you and read and just experience your website? Or are you creating something that's like, and people roll? Now, we don't want a high bounce rate. A good bounce rate is somewhere between 50 and 60%. Basically is what we want. Sometimes that changes depending on what your site is and the point of your site. Sometimes there's a high bounce rate if you want people to leave and go do an opt-in or go buy something on another site. So that number can change based on specific sites, but in general, we want the bounce rate to be fairly low. Now, pogo sticking. Pogo sticking is when you search for something and you have like the tab open with your search results, and you click on something, you click and you open it in a new tab and you go and read about it, and you're like, this is not what I want. And then you go back and you jump back to the search results page. So you're like, search result, page, search results, page, and you don't stay very long on either one. That's called pogo sticking. Now, they don't want to do that, because what Google wants is to provide their users with really quality content. They want to provide their searchers with the best website, the best search result for whatever it is they're searching for. So you have to think like a user. How can I provide really great content for that? So just to wrap it up, SEO doesn't have to be intimidating. It doesn't have to be overwhelming or scary. The 3 things that Google cares about a lot are dwell time. How long are people spending on your site? Pages per session. Are you providing a lot of quality content that people want to read? And bounce rate. Are you creating an environment that people want to stick around on? Are you making it easy for them to stay? I hope this makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions, and thanks so much.